Hello and welcome back to the Kit Chat, the official podcast of the Kit Room Collective magazine. Now, unfortunately, today is the final episode of our podcast. Yeah, I know, really, really sad.
Tragic,
yeah.
Very tragic.
I know you're going to miss us, but luckily all of the episodes are going to remain on YouTube. So if you do miss us, just feel free to watch them back again. Now, obviously, with the first two episodes, for the first one, we spoke about, we did the Boots World Cup, which the winner was the F50s, which some of the newer heads weren't overly pleased about. Some of them said we were nostalgia merchants, and others just said that we are flat-out neeks. Now, before we do begin, we've got a very exciting announcement to make. We do have a print magazine coming out for the Kit Room Collective. Thank you very much. We really do think you're going to enjoy that one. And on that actual magazine, we do have a Stripes versus Swoosh piece, which is a little history piece about Nike versus Adidas, the history behind it, sort of the origins from as far as, the 1920s, etc. And that is exactly what we're going to be discussing today. Now, before that, obviously, I want to introduce the regulars once again. Sid, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, very, very good. Emotional that it's the last hurrah, but it's been very, very good. And yeah, very excited. Looking forward to doing this one as well.
Looking forward to the break as well.
Yeah.
Taylor, how you doing, mate?
Tired, mate. I'm not looking forward to finishing with this podcast. I've quite enjoyed it. But hopefully we can give a nice viewing experience to our many, many, many viewers.
Now, if you guys have missed the Boots World Cup, I mean, what are you doing? You need to go and watch that back. So we're not going to be speaking much about that. You can go and find out for yourself. Now, I've got one simple question for both of you guys.
Yeah.
Nike or Adidas?
I think it's a bit more of a layered question than you might think. I think I often go
Where
through
do you lean?
I often go through phases where I'm one or the other, but I reckon for the last couple of years I've definitely been Nike. I think there was a phase with maybe 2017 around that time where I was leaning towards Adidas, but since around the 2020 mark, Nike's been the go-to. So I'd say Nike for now.
Taylor?
Oh, Adidas. I've got to go Adidas. I mean, I've not worn this for no reason, have I, really? That's the badge. But I've not worn an Adidas branded kit for no reason. But no, I just think I find Nike extremely dull. I think the 2010s Nike's kits in particular I thought were really dull. I think in boots, I know the F50s did win the boot bracket, but I don't think Adidas boots can compete with Nike. But I think Adidas as a brand is better. I think overall, the kits, particularly away kits, are much more creative in their designs. And I think that they're just a much smarter brand. I think Nike have more stock in other things, particularly with basketball as well. Whereas I think Adidas, their football is such a massive flagship area of their company that they put so much into it. And I think they quite often smash it out of the park.
I mean, they are really a classic brand, aren't they? Because, if you look at sort of the first boots that were, really, really prominent with regards to sort of the marketing side, it was, the 54 Germany World Cup winning side was, that's where the Adidas sort of really, that was their, big moment bursting onto the scene. Whereas Nike obviously had theirs, quite later on with, I'd probably say their big move was probably the Brazil side where so what would you say that that's a reasoning as to why people may swing one way or the other? Do you think Adidas is the sort of the more of an old head's choice, whereas Nike you would say would you say that Adidas are the originators, Nike are more so the innovators?
I mean, I don't think that's a crazy thing to say. I think Adidas, they do have a lot more of a sort of classiness to them. I will admit that. That Adidas trefoil, the classic badge, just a lot of it. I think they do lean towards that retro look a lot more than Nike do.
I do like that Adidas Originals.
Even just the tracksuits and stuff. But yeah, I think they are definitely the classy of the two. But I think Nike, I'd say the more innovative as well with their designs. I think from boots, you think of the Flyknit, the sock boot, which wasn't like an amazing, it was massive innovation, but I don't think it was amazing. But the actual Flyknit they use, the material is innovative. Even in terms of kits, the dry fit, the vaping it kits. I think Nike are more innovative. Adidas a bit more of a classier brand. So,
would you
just
say,
depends.
Taylor, it's fair to say that Nike they've both played to their strengths in the sense that Nike know that, you know, with regards to football, there isn't much of a heritage to refer back to, do they?
Well, yeah.
You know,
I mean, when you look at it, like Nike, originally they were an American brand and they prioritized their basketball. I mean, Jordan is the biggest brand as a part of Nike and the biggest creation and biggest sporting brand that's possibly ever been made in terms of having affiliation with a company. And that's how they started. They started as an American-based company. They started in the NFL. They started with basketball in particular, trying to compete with Converse and Adidas. And even then, before Jordan, Adidas were dominating that market. I think Adidas have much deeper roots in history in terms of not only sponsorship but manufacture as well. And I just find that Nike have almost come to the table as opposed to actually being a staple, but they've made themselves a staple now. I think there have been some amazing designs by Nike. I mean, you look at the T90s, which are coming back this year as a kit format. There's so many like insanely beautiful kits that Nike have made over the past 20, 30 years since they really sort of broke into the football market. And I also love their ad campaigns as well. I really find that like they lean into the retro aesthetic a lot, and I think that's really, really works with their brand. But I agree with Sid. I think Adidas are a classier brand. I also think that Adidas produce a better quality, in my opinion. I mean, you look at some of not even just boots, kits, but also the footballs that have been produced over the last 20 years. Champions League balls, Euro balls, World Cup balls, the Brazuca. I mean, you look at the Jubilani.
That's a famously good ball, that.
It was. You'll still look back on it and buy it, though, wouldn't you? Like, you'd still look back on it fondly. It's like, I think Adidas do it really well. And I think whilst Nike are obviously still like an amazing company and I'm never going to shun them, it's a case of I just think Adidas are better at the two.
would you agree with that, Sid? Would you say that, you know, with the quality, you know, Adidas are better with obviously the points that you've made?
Not particularly. I don't think there's a lot between them, really, to be honest. Like, if you pay 250 quid for a premium Nike and you pay 250 quid for a premium Adidas boot, you're getting a similar product. I really don't think that there's much difference between them.
I agree with that.
But even like in terms of footballs and stuff like that, I mean, Nike have been the Premier League provider for the last 20 years. And that just came to an end. So, I mean, look, there's definitely no clear winner. It's just personal preference.
It's one of those things. I do genuinely think that at some point in our lives we probably would have preferred one or the other, and I do think it swings.
Well, I'll put it to you because my clubs, Leeds United, have been made by both Nike and Adidas as well, and I love the Adidas line that has been instilled in our recent partnership, and I think some of the Adidas like shirts are some of the nicest I've worn that my club has produced. But what about you, chaps? I mean, Nike and Adidas have both made your, as you're modelling quite well, both made your
one Nike, one Adidas.
Yeah, I think when Adidas came in 2019, it was 2019. Yeah. It was like, these kits are sick. They were so good. I can think of the sort of bruised banana styled kit we did. Even the home kit was lovely that year.
The third kit was nice.
The third kit was alright, yeah. But then I don't know. I feel like they've gone a bit lazier. Last season I wasn't blown away. Season before was cool. I liked that kit. A lot of people hated it.
Which one? The tennis ball one?
Yeah, the highlighter kit.
You've got that one, haven't you?
Yeah, I liked that one. But I feel like they've gone a bit lazy. But that is one thing with Adidas, especially with Arsenal. They do pump out about 20,000 training tops. Pre-match kits.
A lot of the goalkeeper kits that Adidas make for the different teams tend to be the same as well, which I'm not a massive fan of.
I do, yeah, but they're all like that. Yeah. You remember in like 2016-17 when Nike just recycled the same template for home kits?
Yeah.
Like the England kit, the Spurs kit. There's so many kits that were just remakes of each other and just like the exact same. Like there is a distinctive, there's a Barcelona training top, which is the exact same. Do you know when Nike, I think it was coming up 2018 World Cup, so that's either 17-18 or 18-19. I think it's 18-19, where they had this like lightning effect or electric effect down the sleeves. And obviously France famously won the World Cup with that kit. But there is a distinct kit that Spurs have for their third, which is the exact same kit as Barcelona's training top.
Yeah.
It's the exact same. Like, I think both brands become lazy with things. But I think the way you compare them is obviously not just their legacy and their marketing and their branding as a whole, but I also think you have to compare their elite brands. Now, Adidas obviously have elite brands like Arsenal are one, for instance. Real Madrid will be up there. Juve will be one as well. But it's a case of between Nike and Adidas, I think you really have to compare the elite of the elite, because I think when they move down to lower leagues, even when you like look at Accrington Stanley, who were made by Nike, they are lazy. They all are lazy. Adidas and Nike, respectively, will become lazy the lower down and the less of a priority
I don't
of a
think
club
that's
you
a
become.
surprise. Just revenue.
Exactly. They're not going to be
is.
making as much money from Accrington Stanley as they're going to be from,
What
Real
I
Madrid,
would say in terms of kits, I'd say probably two of the most iconic, definitely the best in terms of club. So two of the most iconic sides of all time have both been wearing Nike. So you think of 2002 Brazil and that 2009-2014 Barcelona side, all in Nike, and I don't think many teams.
That was
that.
my next question actually. How much of it has to do with the success of the teams wearing it? Because if you look at it, Adidas have been with Arsenal since 2019, and for 2 of those seasons we've been in the Champions League. One of them season we didn't play Europe, and the others we've been in the Europa League. Right now, whilst these kits were, I think for the most part, relatively nice. If you look at our Nike kits, we wore Nike during our Invincible season, for example, right? We would have had, we've had Nike for, I'm not entirely sure how many years we've had Nike for, but we would associate,
2000s
we would associate our
2012 or something, 2014, sorry.
Yeah, exactly. So we would associate Arsenal's sort of glory days in some ways, the sort of the real prime Arsene Wenger years with Nike, whereas you associate the Adidas one with, 8th place finishes two years in a row, isn't it?
But then it goes from club to club.
Exactly.
Because Real Madrid have had so much success in their Adidas kits. I mean, they won a three-peat of Champions Leagues,
With
all
the
wearing
kits.
Adidas.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course, you look at that Brazil 2002 World Cup as like one of the most iconic kits you could ever have. Yeah. And there in the print edition, there is a piece on R9 and that as well. But it's a case of, I think if there's success in kits and there's certain players wearing kits, they're always going to be looked on fondly.
Yeah, well, I feel like
I think a nostalgia bias comes in no matter the manufacturer.
Even that the highlighter kit we just mentioned before, the Arsenal kit. If we actually won the league last season, that would have become sort of like a cult classic. That kit.
Suddenly, yeah,
definitely,
100%. It's like let's be honest.
I mean, we did play well in that kit.
The bruised banana, the Arsenal bruised banana. I don't want to keep constantly talking about Arsenal because obviously there's other clubs who have been successful with Nike and Adidas, etc. But the bruised banana isn't objectively a nice looking kit, I don't think. Right? I think I'd actually think it's just different. But because Arsenal, we associate that little period with Arsenal's, the Ian Wright, Rocastle, Ray Parlour, etc.
Yeah.
You suddenly think, oh, what a classic. When you kind of just tend to forget, like, oh wow, that's actually quite a hideous kit.
I feel like that's general just nostalgia. Like if we wore wore this in 20 years, like it's obviously nice still, but if you wore it in 20 years, they'd be like, oh my word, like that's amazing. It's just. I think it comes with the territory. It's just natural, really.
I think it's I do put a lot of it down to success. I think I know this wasn't the exact kit that Argentina did win the World Cup in, but Argentina's most recent World Cup victory, that kit in about 20 years will probably be looked on as one of the great kits.
Yeah,
and right now you don't really care about it because there's other Argentina kits you would probably have. I know there's the blue away one which they remade with like the stripe down the middle or down like the left-hand side, which is just like zigzagging, and that's like an Adidas Originals kit, and that's really cool. But I think the success of the teams does really play a massive and a really pivotal role in how fondly you remember a kit. If Brazil didn't win that World Cup and they went out in the groups,
nobody cares about that kit anymore.
You wouldn't care. True. Like if that, you talk about Arsenal and like that bruised banana kit or even the Invincible season kits. If you hadn't done that, you probably would have looked at it and gone, yeah, it's a nice kit.
It's an alright kit.
But it doesn't elevate it. Like Manchester United, for instance, you look at their time with Adidas, it's been riddled with pretty much mediocrity. But then 10 years with Nike, you look at the 08 kit, that blue one in particular, is a stunner. And it's not a very adventurous kit. It's just blue. But their success, and you remember Ronaldo in it, you remember Rooney, Tevez, I think it might have been slightly before Tevez, but even then, there's so many players that have played so well in those kits, but it does elevate it, and I can't take the image of that player in that kit out of my mind when I think of the kit, which is, I think, a lot of it.
To be fair, I don't even think our Invincible kits were that nice.
No, they were just fine. They were just fine.
No, but there will be Arsenal fans that will, because it's... I'm sure AFTV
I think the long
will
sleeve.
love that
I
kit.
think the long sleeve one is really, really cool.
That's true.
Yeah. I actually wanted to talk a little bit about Manchester United. Do you guys know of the image from I believe it's the FA Cup final from 2005, where it's a penalty shootout and it's Scholes. Yeah, it's Scholes, Ronaldo, Rio, Giggs, Rooney, all of them.
Yeah.
All, like that kit is pretty much an all
Yeah,
black
that
kit,
kit's
right?
great.
But let's just say that year they hadn't. I'm pretty certain, if I'm not mistaken, did they win the league? I think that was actually Chelsea's year potentially.
04-05 was Chelsea.
Chelsea,
so if
yeah.
it was the 05 FA Cup final would have been a
It was
Chelsea league win.
Yeah, it was. But
We won
that
on pens,
team,
won on pens, didn't
yeah,
we?
we won on Arsenal, won on penalties. But that team, you look at that picture, and you think, that is some serious recognition there. Yeah. And that kit, I'll be honest, is nothing special. It's a pretty bog standard black kit. But you look at that and you think, Scholes, Rio Ferdinand, Ryan Giggs.
And then if yeah, that's true. Because if you have like Walsall,
yeah,
lining up in the same kit with them players, you wouldn't think, that looks sick. You just be like,
oh, it's Walsall.
Yeah.
At the same time, I think it is very much, Nike, Adidas, and you also have to look at the brand ambassadors of those brands. I mean, you look at Messi and Ronaldo. It was always the two divides, and it always has been the two divides. The Superflies, the F50s, Argentina, Portugal, the two best players to ever walk the earth, facing off against each other, and they both represent the two biggest brands in the world. So I think it is down to personal preference. I have such a fondness towards the F50s over the Superflies, and I prefer Messi in Argentina to. But then there'll be other people who will prefer the other side of it.
It is
and will
exactly.
prefer
There is.
So,
I do wonder. Part of me wonders, what if Messi and Ronaldo were both sponsored by the same?
I think it's a bit.
What does that?
Yeah,
what does that do to the other?
sure, it
brand?
would do something.
It would. I think it would be
do a
very
lot.
significant.
I'm a staunch Messi fan, but I'd still lean towards Nike. But a thing you were saying before, I'd say it's not even just the players. It is the badge. I'm saying, like, if you have an all black kit, put a Barcelona badge in it, people buying it.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Put I don't even know, just
Rotherham United.
Yeovil Town on it.
Same for Madrid as well.
Yeah.
Same for Madrid.
Like that, the classic oath, like 2005 sort of black away kit. It's been looked at so fondly with this the Simmons mobile. If that's just your standard everyday team,
no one really cares.
no one bats an eyelid.
Taylor, you touched on very briefly on Jordans and
Yes,
PSG.
yes,
of course.
yes.
Now with PSG having won the Champions League a couple of weeks ago.
What a team, by the way.
What a team, exactly.
What a football
Suddenly, that's done wonders for Jordan. Because Jordan's
Yeah.
gone, right, well, our teams have just won the Champions League. And it's that sort of thing that, the stuff that we're talking about, how about the Invincible kits have done this, 20 years down the line. Jordans are going to be looking at this, 20 years down the line.
Oh,
thinking,
it's so crazy to think that brand can still go higher. When the fact that Michael Jordan is still the highest paid sports person in the world, and he's been retired
crazy.
for like 20 years, like the amount of revenue that man makes based off his shoes and his name being on the shoe, it's one of the greatest clothing innovations like ever. But the amount of revenue, it may not be for like in terms of like elegance or anything like that, but in terms of revenue, culture, like signifiers, it goes from the top of society to the bottom.
just
and
the sheer name recognition there is just incredible.
It's something that anyone can wear. From like a poor little basketball court, like a really beaten up basketball court in like Chicago, to like the Champions League final.
Yeah.
And it's incredible to think that these brands can still go ever higher. And Jordan, I love the Jordan Club so much. I think it's one of my favorite like footballing clubs. I think it is the best one. I did a piece on it on the website for our magazine. But
Be sure to check out.
yeah, definitely. Send me presents. But overall, like, I just think it's possibly the best club that's ever been made in football. Like, it's the amount that it's done and the representation it's given to both brands, but in particular PSG as well.
Yeah.
It's astronomical.
You associate Jordans with PSG now.
And
almost
they've
if you're a
produced some
football fan, isn't it?
beauties as well.
It's incredible.
Some beautiful kits.
PSG
I love the one
rarely
from this
miss.
season.
Yeah.
The wings down side. I think it's very innovative.
Best collab ever, PSG Jordan, do you think, between football and fashion?
Best performing for sure. I wouldn't say best, but I
would you
think
say
there's
is your
cooler
best?
ones. Off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you right now, but I think there's been cooler, more niche ones where have a bit more of a local sort of context and actual significance. Whether this is just pure commercialization.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was pretty pioneering when it came through, and it is definitely the most performing because they've been with them 5 or 6 years now, and they've churned out about 15 odd kits or whatever. It's probably best performing, but I wouldn't say it's my favourite. But it's still nice.
Now that leads us on nicely to this next section. On our TikTok, actually, we did a little series called Fire or Die, where we talk about certain football fashion choices and collaborations and talk about if they're fire or dire. And today we'll do the same. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be listing off 3 Adidas collaborations and 3 Nike collaborations. And all you guys have to do is debate amongst yourself if it's fire or if it's dire. Now, with this first one, I know you two will already disagree with this one because off camera we've had this chat. But the Adidas human race collabs.
Yeah.
I'm going to start with you, Taylor.
I like them. I don't like all of them, but as a whole, I like them. The Arsenal one is probably the biggest I saw out of the 5, but it's just still not bad. Like, sure, I've seen clubs release kits that have actually been their kits for the season, and they've been much worse than this.
Yeah.
I look at the Stevenage Burger King kit, for instance.
Oh my God.
Disgusting. And they wore that for an entire season. We've had kits that have been awful, and I've never wanted to wear. Like our black one when we got relegated, for instance, in the 22-23 season. Horrendous kit. The away kit, horrendous kit. That's not that bad.
Yeah.
I think that's not that bad. The Juve one is fantastic, in my opinion.
That pink Juve one is incredible.
Like 15-16, I believe it was, kit remake, is gorgeous. And I like the streetwear sort of like graffitied, like almost like faded, like water paint type of like aesthetic they go with. The Man United one's really good, and I hate that club with all my burning heart, but like ultimately, like it's a really good selection of kits. The Bayern one's also really nice, even though I probably would move the badge slightly, but I like it. I think it is fire. Ultimately, I think it just creeps into the realms of fire because I could see why people don't like it because it is a bit bold.
Yeah.
It is a bit harsh, but at the same time, I think it would just creep into fire, in my opinion.
No, I don't like it. I think it's dire. I like that it's Pharrell, and I like what Human Race stand for. I like that they're sort of charitable and trying to what they're doing with their brand. I like that, but I like the idea. I guess I just don't think the execution.
Not a fan of the
I just think it looks like a child's done it. It just does, doesn't it? It looks like a child's like drawn, like painted them on. Funny enough, I think the Arsenal one's actually okay.
Yeah, the Arsenal one.
I think United one's nice. Juventus, I think they've ruined that top. I think.
Do you think?
Yeah,
I think
really?
Juventus one is actually really
I was like,
nice.
that's such a classic top, and they just like made it look a bit wacky and stupid. So I'm not the biggest fan. Real Madrid one's okay.
I think it's subtle. I don't think it's that stupid.
It
I
looks
really
like
don't. The Juve kit particularly, I don't
It
think.
simply looks like a kid's drawn it, like painted them. Like,
Is that not the point?
I mean, it could be, but if that's what you're going for, sure. If you like that.
Are you talking just simply, just look, irrespective of what it means and what the significance of it, you just don't think it looks nice?
Yeah.
So at the end of the
Precisely.
day, if Sid doesn't think it's nice,
Yeah, I appreciate
doesn't matter
that.
what the message is.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that. The original is better. I will say the original is better.
easy,
My brother has that kit with Pogba on the back. He got it on Finted, and it is a really cool kit. Like, I do love that kit. I mean, you may think of so many cool players: Pogba, Dybala. I think Mandzukic would have been there at that time, maybe. But yeah, I think it's a nice take. I think it's a much. I probably still would wear the original, and I don't think that holds that back, though. I still think that the remake is very nice. I do think that the whole point is it to be meant to have that human element, that human touch to it. And yeah, even if you take the human race as a brand out of it, and obviously they celebrate diversity and equity amongst culture, but ultimately, like, if you focus on that as a kit, I don't mind it. I don't mind it. As a one-off, I don't mind it.
Fire and a dire, just what we like to see. Now, this one, I don't think there's going to be much contention for. PSG and Jordans. I think we've already talked about this.
The GOAT.
Enough said.
GOAT.
Enough said already.
It is.
Absolute GOAT. I don't think there's a collab that can ever come close.
Okay, right. The next one. Some of you may have seen this, some of you may not have done. It's the Ajax, Adidas, and Daily Paper collaboration. Now, this, personally, classy, I think. I think it looks really, really clean.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Got to go to Sid first. Surely he's the one who spoke to the actual
Yeah,
designer.
no,
exactly.
I think I'd be a snake if I said it was dire, so I've got to say fire. No,
Use him for clout.
I do really like the kit. And yeah, like you said, I spoke to Jefferson Ossé, who was one of the co-founders of Daily Paper.
Piece available online. Read it now.
Yeah,
Send us presents.
Yeah, you spoke to me more about the Ghana collab, but yeah, the Ajax collab I think is really cool.
Even then, that Ghana kit's beautiful as well.
Yeah,
the Ghana kit's gorgeous,
I really like the Ajax kit. I think the gold one with the sort of stripe down the middle.
Oh yeah,
so nice. Even the training gear that they did is really nice. So yeah, I think it's really cool.
I agree.
And it's got local presence. Like a lot of the others, like they are a Dutch, Amsterdam-based brand, and I think that elevates it a bit more, and it gives it that sort of significance.
Well, from seeing the collabs that Jefferson Ossé has actually made with football clubs and national teams, like it seems like he really takes like a really cultural and very informed like viewpoint when designing a kit. I mean, you look at the whole point behind the Ghana ones, which I know you touch upon in your article anyway, with some of the quotes that were used by Jefferson. But like he really touches upon like the culture behind the kit. Like I think one of the quotes was like he wanted to unite all the tribes of Ghana and make them feel proud to wear their kit. And I think that's really good. And I'm sure by being a Dutch-based brand as well, he'll have put so much... I don't know the meaning behind the Ajax one. I can't say I do. But he'll have put so much thought and consideration into what that kit will actually represent as a culture for the city of Amsterdam.
I think the actual training gear was to celebrate a lot of the African players that have played for...
Yeah, I mean, Kudus is one of them as well.
Obviously, Brian Brobby's also from Ghana, but he obviously represents Netherlands. But there's quite a few that just always played for Ajax.
It does remind me a little bit of, actually, we did a TikTok the other day, which was football fashion unpopular opinions. And Taylor, yours was, kits should have more of a cultural representation.
I think so.
Rather than the representation of a brand. And I think, if I'm being honest, I think this collaboration epitomizes that.
Well, I think this collaboration, as you say, epitomizes that. Your home kit, I think you can really never do too much, really, year on year, because it's supposed to be a specific color and it's supposed to be a specific style. And I don't mind that. Your away kits and your third kits are where you almost become more personalized. I think there are certain colors that should be used. Like, I'm sure, even though I know Barcelona have used a white kit, I'm sure they wouldn't want to use a white kit for Madrid. But when you actually look at it, like it's the same as like certain like clubs wearing blue and certain clubs like we never have a red away kit, for instance. But I think this one in particular, I like that they have deep meanings behind them. I think when thought is put into the actual construction and the creation of a kit and the designing of it, I think it makes it better. And I think ultimately there are kits that have been produced with thoughtful designs that have looked pretty terrible. I mean, I don't like your away kit from last season, which I believe was supposed to be based off of Matt from Islington.
Yeah,
but which one?
The tennis
away
ball
kit, the tennis ball kit.
Oh right.
But the actual design of this, as well as that training top, is very stunning, and it looks like a training top. Mm-hmm. I think your training tops are very expressionate as well. But that kit's nice. I like that kit. It's a fire.
So it's a fire all around. Amazing.
Big up Jefferson.
For sure.
This next one, I think there may be a Dyer in here. It is the Juventus, Adidas, and Palace collaboration. I'm gonna start with you, Taylor.
Dyer.
I
like it. I like what they're trying to do. They have just remade the home kit, and then I think that with this season they ended up wearing this just more. I don't like the green.
Yeah, that is kind of the kit.
If it was a
itself,
different color,
I think it looks fine. It's just
the
neon green looks like somebody's put like a highlighter pen to the kit.
If it was a different color, I think I would be looking at it in a much better light. If even the orange on that sleeve is it's crap in it. It is bad. It's pretty bad.
I don't mind it. I think I'll lean towards fire just about.
Why?
I just don't mind it. I think it's kind of nice. I don't know. Like,
what about it though is nice? I just don't like it.
It's different. Like I don't mind the green. I kind of like that green. I don't know. I think it's cool. It helps that Ronaldo, the Ronaldo's become synonymous. I wouldn't say synonymous, but when you think of that kit, I just think of Ronaldo in it instantly.
Yeah, so do I.
And I think it's one of the first times you really feel like a. So it was like 2019, wasn't it? So one of the first times that you can think of like a sort of skateboarding that sort of streetwear brand sort of really getting involved with football. So I think that's really cool.
I don't mind that.
Yeah, I'm not mad about it. I'm just like, yeah,
So
it's
a
alright.
little split.
It's all right. It's not great though.
Split. Now next, I'm gonna divert away from kits for a little bit. I'm gonna go towards the trainers because it is the Liverpool, LeBron, and Nike Air Max collaboration. Just because I didn't want to have 6 kit collabs, I think it'd be a little bit boring. So I wanted to throw another one in there. What do you think of this one?
This shoe is very nice.
Yeah.
I like it. Obviously, it plays upon the colours of Liverpool third kits. It's got the red in there, the white as well, which is so synonymous with the football club. And I think it's really good.
I do think there's. It's
I don't think it would ever
cool.
compete with Jordan, which I assume LeBron is his first thought behind it.
Yeah,
but
it's true.
it's nice.
Yeah,
I'd
I
say
do think
fire.
we'll see more of that as well. I do think we're going to see more of the fashion integration to football beyond kits. We're seeing that with certain suits or hoodies, etc. Just general fashion accessories where fashion brands are collaborating with football, and I think that's here to stay.
I'm sure it also hopes so. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure LeBron is like a part owner.
Yes,
of the football club.
I know
as
he's
well.
a fan of it.
Yes, allegedly. But yeah.
Yeah. It's my favorite saying.
I'm sure he's.
Yeah.
What do you think, Sid?
Yeah, no, fine. I don't honestly like it. They're nice shoes. They're actually more interesting. I thought that Liverpool. It wasn't like I don't think it was a collaboration with another specific fashion company, but they made Nike and Liverpool made like some Liverpool FC themed 110s, some Air Max 110s, which are obviously 110s have become
110s
the trainer of Liverpool. So I thought that was pretty cool. I'm not sure the execution.
110s have just become this. Yeah, the trainer of Merseyside more than just Liverpool.
So I like it. Fire.
No,
yeah, it's good.
another Nike one because we have had quite a few Adidas ones so far. Barcelona, Nike, and Travis Scott. I think this kit is gorgeous, personally.
I love it.
Yeah,
I think it's absolutely beautiful.
Well, so do you prefer the Pata one you were saying, their Pata collab?
Well, in terms of shoes, I don't know. I don't know if I prefer it. I just think, yeah, it's cool, but I feel like it's just a cash grab, really, because I know Barcelona.
What isn't?
I know. I know Barcelona.
Barcelona, a bit of a pickle.
Yeah,
financially,
anonymously,
isn't it?
not the smartest with their money, but the Spotify collab. But this one, like the amount of money they're selling it for is mental,
And they've sold out.
and they know it will sell out instantly just because Travis Scott and all his things that he does
Yeah.
just sell out instantly. And I think it's a bit of a it doesn't sit right with me.
Does it feel like a bit of a? I think they're going to use that money to register Danny Olmo.
You could say all of them are, which the majority are, but they're not selling them for how much they're selling this one for. And I just don't. It don't sit right with me.
I have to say I love it. I really love it. I think it's a great representation of their partnership with Spotify, which again is in an article on our website that I did, and hopefully should be trying to speak to Barcelona soon. Hopefully, although that might not happen. But it's I like it a lot. I really like it. We touch upon Barcelona not being the best club in terms of financial, and Bartomeu, who was their previous owner, was terrible financially, and Laporta's tried so hard to bring that back with them. But I do think that this collaboration and the sponsorship, not just the naming rights of the Camp Nou as well, but the difference in terms of they changed the sponsors for El Clasico, and since they've actually joined together, they've made about 300 to 500 million in terms of like revenue from just selling these kits and the sponsors on the kits and the brand itself being worth that. It's incredible, and there's so many famous music stars that use this kit to promote their own tours. I mean, Coldplay were featured, Drake, Dua Lipa were featured, and now Travis Scott is another one. I like this. I think the fashion side of it, the kit's good, but it's a standard kit. But the actual fashion line they've put behind it, like that hoodie is absolutely incredible in my opinion. I think it is stunning, and it's a big fire from me. Big fire. Flames.
Are you leaning towards a dye or?
I mean, I like the actual collab. It's just too expensive. So the dye is
dye.
Yeah, but I just it's really expensive. But then there's so many fashion collabs that I'm sure are. I'm pretty sure the AC Milan off-white
I feel
varsity
like,
jackets
I feel like that's more acceptable though, because that's how much Off-White actually are.
Yeah.
And I know that's how much Travis Scott sells his stuff for, but
I suppose
Barca are a bigger club. They're a bigger brand.
No, but Off-White, like one of the biggest fashion brands that have
Yeah.
emerged in the last 10 years or so. And that was a sick varsity jacket.
I
It
mean,
was sick.
ultimately,
It was
we can,
sick.
we
It
can
was
criticize
so
the
cool.
pricing all we like, but ultimately they've set that price because there's a demand for it, clearly. And
And it's
as
sold
they've
out.
proven,
Like,
it's sold out.
it's
So
clear that people want it.
And it's probably selling for more on resale.
yeah,
Oh God, StockX and places like that will be absolutely fleecing that. Absolutely fleecing the price.
I mean, I think like we've linked quite a few of the articles onto the website. So if you don't check them out, we're not friends.
we've shamelessly plugged our
Shamelessly
website
plugged.
today.
Now, as a reward for everybody who has watched the first two and obviously this episode, we're going to be doing a little quiz that you guys back home can also
Yes, sir.
compete in. Now, with this one, boys, it's going to be whoever answers first gets it.
Oh, we're getting buzz. Are we making buzzer noises? Ooh.
If you want to make a buzzer noise, what's your buzzer noise then, Taylor?
Go.
All right. Sid?
Bash.
Bash. All right. Now, like I said, everyone watching back home, feel free to take part.
Cool.
Question number one. What year was Arsenal's first O2 kit released?
Do I have to give the season or just the year?
Season?
2001, 2002.
Incorrect.
That's all on you now.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Because we had Sega, JVC.
Oh, your JVC kits were nice. And more 90s though. JVC.
Trying to think. I'll go 2002-3.
2002-3 is correct.
Ah,
That's a point
Well
for
done,
Sid.
well done.
I didn't even know that. That was a complete guess.
Sticking to North London.
I was only a year
Question
off.
number two. Tottenham Hotspur have been with Nike since 2017. Who sponsored them before that?
Bash.
Ah.
Under Armour.
Yeah,
Correct.
it was as
Sid's
well.
2-0 up. The 2-0 curse.
Yeah.
Potentially you could bring it back.
You never know.
Question number three. Who was England's kit manufacturer before Nike took over in
Bash.
Ah, you got that. You can take
Umbro.
Correct.
Yeah, was Umbro.
You're gonna need.
It's just his noise is quicker. That's all it is. I know it. It's just the noise is quicker.
Next one's a true or false. True or false? Germany's World Cup 2014 away kit was all black.
False.
Correct. It was red
Yeah.
and black.
Was it?
Yeah,
I
there were
d-
two colours on it.
I mean, I can
Did they even
only-
wear it?
They did. They wore it when they beat Brazil 7-1.
Yeah,
so
they did.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
Was
no,
in the
yeah, it was the
7-1.
black and red one. Yeah.
Now this one we're going to be
getting
going back in
embarrassing
time a little
now.
bit. This is a little bit before our time actually, but I'm sure we may have a chance. Which Colombian goalkeeper, famous for his giant afro, completed a scorpion kick save?
Higuita.
Correct. That is, I believe that's 3-2.
3-2. I told you. It's comeback time.
Coming back.
Come back to
All
it.
Okay.
Swansea away, this.
Question number 6. In the Premier League era, how many different badges have Manchester City had?
Bash. 3.
Correct.
Yeah.
So initially, I thought there was only the two. There was obviously the eagle one, and then the.
Yeah.
But I didn't. I only really found out the other day. that-
Just a quick one. What do you think of that badge? I mean, obviously the eagle was the one we grew up with, but the
It's
newer
so much,
one
the,
is
the old one's so much better. Isn't
what
it?
the eagle.
Yeah.
I prefer the newer one. I think it's the classic
whack.
badge.
No, I like the is it
if
is
the
it an
new
eagle? I don't
one
know, but
initially
yeah,
when
that
the new one came
Eagle has
out,
nothing to do with them.
initially when the new one came out, I was like, what on earth is this? But then upon seeing that fact that that was their sort of.
I'd say
their
it's not
classic
as
badge
much as a
before.
downgrade as West Ham.
Oh my word!
Oh, West Ham's badge now is it's so simplistic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I
the
mean,
worst one.
there's some clubs that change their badges like Brentford, but I actually prefer it.
Yeah.
Like that might be a controversial, but I actually prefer Brentford's. But it's sometimes it goes the more modern look isn't necessarily.
I do.
the best.
If I'm being honest,
Like
as much
Inter's
as
I don't like.
as much as I appreciate the heritage side of the Manchester City new badge, I do think the old one, the eagle one it just looks a bit nicer, doesn't it?
I get that.
But I can appreciate both sides.
Okay.
Now, question number 7. So you're 4-2 up currently.
Yeah.
Make sure we keep track of our scores. Which Premier League legendary centre back revealed that he changes his boots 3 times every game and never wears them again?
Bash. John Terry.
Correct.
No, I
was
had
a
no
guess.
idea about that one.
This I
That's
found
interesting.
this
Is that
really
real?
really fast. Yeah. So he wears one during the warm up, one
So
during
greedy.
one in the first half, and one in the second half.
No need.
I take it they're
Yeah.
all the same brand as well. They're
Probably-
same brand.
Does
I
he not
assume
get
so.
blisters when he's like breaking his new shoes? Like,
That-
Are they all the same? They've got to all be the same like type of boot. They've all got to be like Tiempos or whatever it was he wore then.
Yeah, he's
That's ridiculous.
Tony Cruz's biggest enemy. I suppose.
How greedy
Yeah,
is
it's
that?
it's ridiculous, but yeah, that's John Terry.
Sums him up. That.
Sums him up. Yeah,
Sums
exactly.
him up.
Right, question number 8. What was unique about the Ajax away kit in the 2021-22 season?
I feel like no, it's not the Bob Marley one, is it? I'm going with the Bob Marley.
Correct.
Yeah.
It is the Bob Marley show. It was inspired by Bob Marley and his song Three Little Birds.
When
Now-
they sing that before a game as well, very cool.
Very cool.
Very, very cool.
So that is, I believe,
5-3, is it not?
5-3.
Yeah.
So you could technically level it if you
I
get the next
can.
two.
I probably won't, but we'll give it a go. Go
Next
on.
up.
Go on the boys. Come on,
Napoli.
Manchester United.
Napoli teamed up with which fashion
Bosch.
brand? Come on, let me-
Armani.
It is. Oh, wow, he's
Sid's
got it as
taking
well.
it.
I
Sid's
thought you were
taking the
going to go an
victory.
older route. and
Yeah,
I was going to
yeah,
be able to
no, I
flip.
took a
could.
risk. I took a risk.
You could score a consolation
That
point.
was
maybe.
pretty good, to
That
be
was
fair.
really,
That was-
really
that was
impressive.
aura.
Fair play. Fair
He's
play.
gained some more points there.
Now, this number 10 is a really special question because it is to do with our latest, one of our late big features on our website. Asmir Begovic is one of 6 Premier League goalkeepers to have scored
But-
a goal
Wait.
against Southampton.
He said
what?
it. He said it. Answer it. No. Answer it.
Answer
What's
it.
your
Go on.
answer?
What's
You've
your
said
answer?
it. I get to hear the question, you sausage. You answer it.
13 seconds. No.
14 seconds.
What was the?
That
It
is
took you
not-
14.
that 13 seconds is unfortunately not the colour of the kit he was wearing. So, what
Is that when he scored the...
yes, the halfway line. Well, not halfway line, from his own box.
Was it light blue?
Oh,
Bosch. Can I go back? Is it my
Hey, if I've
got
answered
one
right, I'm
wrong,
answering
then
light
yeah.
blue. I am answering light blue.
yellow? Well, like neon yellow.
Also incorrect.
No.
Well, green then.
Correct.
Yes!
Sid.
Come on.
Well
Big
done,
up.
Taylor's-
You
Taylor's
interviewed
goal.
him and I know him better. Have that.
Asmir Begovic is going to be watching this.
What's your favourite
thinking,
colour? 13,
how
exactly.
Could you? How could you?
There's even a video of it in the story, but yeah.
In the story. Well, I mean, I think that's massive, though. I think it's huge. We've got an Asmir Begovic
Was that
feature.
6'5" as well, by the way?
That is, yeah.
I
that is-
pulled it back. I've
Yeah,
done all right.
6'4".
6'4".
6'4". Oh, I've done all right there.
Yeah,
done all
look.
right there.
It's
Good game.
At 3-0. It could have
GG,
been
mate.
it could have been a capitulation, but you stayed in there.
Could have. It could have been managers throwing the kitchen towel in. Kitchen sink
Forfeit
at
game,
it.
lose 3-0. So yeah, be
Kitchen
sure,
towel, that's
everyone,
weird.
please be sure to check out that Asmir Begovic piece. We have appeared to be quite a goalkeeper-heavy brand because
Yeah.
we've got the Peter,
Yeah.
we've got the Peter
We are,
Shilton,
aren't
we've got Shay Given, we've got Asmir Begovic. But hey, do you know what? There's a lot of history with regards to goalkeeper fashion, so read all about it. That unfortunately does bring an end to not just this episode, but to the podcast.
Wow.
It's emotional.
It is emotional.
Make sure to read our print and our online edition. Our print is excellent, as is our online. But yeah, definitely.
No, make sure
plug
you
us.
read the print because that's
Do
what
what you
me
can
and him
for
have
us.
made. So yeah,
I love it. I love it.
A massive thank you to everybody who's listened to and
the Fox and
watched
Dot.
the first.
Oh yeah, massive thank you to the Fox and Dub. What a pub! What a pub!
Up the Fox and Duck.
Up the duck.
Up the Ducks.
Proper good. No, I've got. Well, big thank you.
They've
to
been
them.
really, really
Great
accommodating.
prices, by the way. The fact that you can get a guess for $3.85 is insane. $3.85 for the great Irish drinks. We love it.
As we say every week, if you're ever around in Broomhill, if you're ever in Sheffield,
Get yourself
just
up.
get yourself up.
Mate,
to
you
the
know
Fox and
where
Duck.
it is. You know exactly where it is.
There's
Even
also
if
a
you
really
don't
cool
get to
dog
know.
here.
We love it.
Yeah, and also a massive thank you to the camera crew behind the camera as well. So a big shout out to Jamie, who
big
deals
thank
with
you.
everything audio related. Peter, who's just there and he's just looking amazing all the time.
No, he doesn't.
And he sets up the cameras as well. And Charlie Barry, because that is actually his camera that he's helped us with. So,
When he's here, he's perfect, isn't he?
which isn't often.
Always it.
Thank you. So yeah, thank you so much to all the listeners once again. Like I say, be sure to check out the website. Be sure to check out the print. And there won't be a next time.
But they might, yeah.
But thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.